What's up, everyone? How you guys all doing today? We got a special guest, Mr. Adrian here. We got such a great story, such a great journey. I love seeing now. If you guys watched on live, comment #live. If you watched on the replay, comment #replay. Come say what up in the comment section below, because we're gonna be dropping some golden nuggets of how Adrian took this idea of coaching, of building a Facebook group, taking on the online space, helping men in the personal development realm, whether it's mindset, finances, health, becoming a boss, and was able to turn this into an actual business, not just a free charity. So an actual business. And so this is really what I want to talk about, is getting Adrian, like when we first met back in February, late February, beginning of March. This was all an idea. I remember you were, I wouldn't say skeptical, but I would say you were. A big thing that we talked about was like, this is going to be an identity shift. It's going to take some time. We're going to have to put the pieces together. You're running an existing business already, so how are we going to figure out putting life together? And now it's becoming a reality. You're running your group coaching beta program right now, and it's just, I'm sure it's becoming real, and it's an exciting time, bro. So I'm super excited to kind of get your 2 cents on this. And if you guys have any questions for Adrian, should have comment down below. So first question, sir. So tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, and your business.
Yeah, awesome, bro. So first of all, thank you for having me on. My name's Adrian. My goal is to, help men, right, in their self-development and their journey of building their masculine frame. So with faith, finance, fitness, all the things self-development, right, for men. I actually met Dan because I was actually thinking of becoming so I run a tutoring business, and I was thinking of becoming a teacher, like a physics teacher, because my students were telling me to become a physics teacher. And I actually ended up applying to the University of Toronto to try and become a teacher. And then I stumbled upon coaching, and I was kind of in between, because I was like, okay, how much money could you really make as a teacher, but how much money could you make as a coach? But I didn't fully understand how much money you could make as a coach. So then I started talking to Dan, and I was kind of, interested in it. And I was like, okay, I want to know more details. And I think that's where it opened me to, not only could I make more money in coaching, but I would have more fulfillment in it, and I could teach whatever I want. So I wasn't limited to physics, right? And that really opened up the possibilities. I was kind of nervous, and Dan told me I didn't really have the money back then, so I borrowed money from my mom and her Amex card, and I was able to pay that off, so that was all good. But yeah, and then now I'm here. I have a group of 560 people now in my Facebook group, all men who are interested in the topic that I am talking about. And through that, it's just been buzzing. And yeah, now I have 6 beta clients, running through a pilot program.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess life's good right now.
Yeah. Well, tell us how the process, because what we were talking about just before was how simple the process is, and how, I don't use the word genius it is, but I forget which word to use. Tell us about the process from knowing nothing about building a Facebook group, because obviously you didn't grow up on Facebook like I did at some level, right? So tell me about it, because obviously you are growing a following on Instagram. I don't know if you're growing a following on TikTok. You obviously have some YouTube videos out, but I specifically want to talk about, what do you think, how the process worked from the Facebook group funnel, and growing a community, knowing how to build conversations, and creating a whole, tell us about that.
Yeah. I think everyone, in my personal opinion, all the young guys, whoever's watching this, even if you're older, younger, whatever, once you understand the game of online business, it kind of makes it kind of stupid not to go into online business, because you do have the flexibility. I'm just being honest, you have the flexibility to work wherever you want.
I want the raw Adrian, bro.
No, I'm gonna give it to you guys raw right now. Okay. I'm gonna tell you exactly what this is about. Okay. So, you have the flexibility, to work from wherever you want. And it allows you to use your creative ability as well. I think the thing that, if you're an entrepreneur and you're someone who wants to kind of go out and just make that money, right? If you're someone like that, a lot of the times that it becomes hard because you don't have a system. And that's where like, my entrepreneurial journey was kind of plateauing, is I kind of knew the game about all these different things like YouTube and Instagram, and kind of knew how to prospect and sales and stuff like that. I kind of knew those little skill sets, but I didn't really have a system that gave me the confidence to lean back on it, And I think that was the biggest difference with, Dan's coaching program, because the system was so well created and well thought out that once I started implementing it, I knew that, okay, if I did these key things, these key performance indicators, if I just completed these things, then eventually the system would start, the gears would start turning within the system. And then if I stopped, the gears would turn slower. And if I doubled down, the gears would turn faster. But that's because I trusted in the system, right? And I feel like some people who are watching this, you guys just think you're too smart and you think you're going to build your own system, which maybe you can. But honestly, like, I think I've saved so much more time investing in this program and, taking this system, because like Dan said, one of the biggest things was like, if you have a niche that you want to coach, if let's say I'm on Instagram. So I'm on Instagram too, right? And I'm on Instagram because I had Instagram when I was in university, when I was in high school, I had Instagram. So I had a lot of friends on Instagram, and the first clients I wanted to get were maybe my friends. But the problem is that when I was posting stuff about masculinity and self-development, people would just be like, there would be certain people who are like, whoa, like, I love what you're posting. But then there are other people who are kind of like, oh, you know what? Like, oh, that's what Adrian's doing now. Okay. Right. So you have like a mixed audience of people who are interested and people who are not interested, or people who are just there to support you. And they're just your friends. But with the Facebook community group, that really niched down, my clients. I have all these clients in this little hub, right? That are just waiting. They're literally just eggs waiting to hatch, right? And some of these eggs hatch early because they see one piece of content. They're like, whoa, this guy's a sick guy. But like some of them, it's just like, yo, man, they see like, 50, 60 pieces of content, like, 8 months later, and then they're like, oh, now I'm interested. Because they don't know that they're interested until later. But because they're in this machine or the system, they're pretty much getting indoctrinated with what I'm putting out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So eventually they're going to make a decision. But I just thought, when it came to my entrepreneurial journey, there was a difference. There was a clear distinction. I would say the biggest thing I learned was you could be self-employed as an entrepreneur and do call, deal, call, deal. And you're just a hamster on a wheel. Or you can transition that into a system and then invest consistently in the system. And then the system just pays itself after. I think that was the biggest shift. Yeah. Because I have the system and I wasn't just a self-employed person. I was actually a business owner now.
Well, I think it's all of us, like, you're in real estate. I was in door-to-door sales. It's like, it's just a repetitive thing, right? Where you're just, call, close. And like, that's good to learn certain skills, but that's not what's going to give you the freedom that you want. Like, we haven't even talked about like the ability that, for all we know, Adrian could be in Mexico for right now. Yeah, I'm sure I'm
in outer space, bro. I'm in outer space. Like, I don't know about
I wouldn't
you
be
guys.
surprised if 6 months later, a year later, you start making really good money and you're like, dude, I'm moving to Colombia. When you coming out here? I wouldn't be surprised. And I think that's the beauty. And you're not really reporting to anyone. I think that's the beauty about cracking this code. What I want to ask you, I got a lot more questions too. And by the way, if you guys have questions down below, if Adrian is inspiring you, comment down below. But for you, what were some like key things of the system where like, if I just kept doing this, sooner or later it would connect? Because I know what it is, but I'm curious to hear what it was for you.
Yeah. So some of the things that I like really realized, because, all these old guys use Facebook, right? So I was like, okay, I'm a young guy. Like, why would I use Facebook? I haven't even used Facebook like that. So I was actually getting to know how to use Facebook only through this coaching thing is when I really got to see what Facebook had. And bro, Facebook, man, that thing is a machine. Facebook, when you're a group owner when you own a Facebook group and you're the authority in it, Facebook has so many tools that actually help you grow the group, create engagement, and all these kinds of things. There's actually one thing I stumbled on. It's called Admin Assist. I don't know if you use it on Facebook, but like I stumbled on this thing called Admin Assist. And essentially what it is you could create reoccurring posts on Facebook using this thing called Admin Assist. So for example, I'll create a certain type of post, put it on Admin Assist and say, play this every Wednesday, every other week. And it will literally play that on replay. Now, all I've been doing is I've been just making content after content after content and putting them on these cycles. Some of them are once a week, some of them are every day, some of them are 3 times a week. And I just load up this automated process. So if I were to miss a day of content, this machine's just running, man. It's just running. And you got to be creative. Like you need like a lot of different things on the admin assist, you know. But I thought that was like really cool, like how Facebook works. I also liked how if I were to do live trainings, right, and webinars and, you know, videos and stuff like that, or interviews, it was so clutch because when I would go on Facebook, it was connected to my Zoom. So the second I went Zoom, sent someone a Zoom link, hopped on this Zoom call, did an interview or did a training, shared my screen, whatever, and I put live on Facebook, right after I end that meeting, it's literally on Facebook. So this was okay. Maybe I sound stupid right now, you know, for those of you guys who actually know.
Not like Instagram, is where it disappears.
It's not like Instagram, because Instagram, you never use it on your laptop. You always use it on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. But Facebook on your laptop, that was a big realization I had, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have to take this huge file that's like 50 minutes long and upload it to Facebook. How long that going to take? Maybe I got to put it in a Google Drive. I don't know what I have to do. But then the fact that it was so seamless and just uploading made it almost like a better platform for coaching. Yeah. It just made it make sense for coaching, because, you know, you could go through a bunch of this guy's TikTok reels or whatever and think he's a good coach. But what if you could actually attend this guy's trainings of like in-depth coaching of what you actually want? And if you're in the Facebook group and you have Zoom connected to your Facebook, man, you could do a lot with that.
Yeah. And I'm glad I think sometimes things take time to click, but once it clicks, it can open up your eyes. So let me go through some more questions that I got over here. So one question was, what do you think was the biggest problem you had prior to joining the program?
Yeah, I guess the biggest problem I had was like, I didn't know what to coach. You know, I didn't fully know what to coach. And I didn't really know, like, I'm an analytical guy, as you guys probably know. For me, it's like, man, forget what I'm coaching, forget any of this stuff. Like, tell me what the system is. I need to know if this system is worth investing in. If the system's not worth investing in, then it's going to bottleneck at a certain point. So I needed to know if that system was worth investing in. So I guess that was like the biggest question I had. But yeah, I don't know if I think that's
for sure. Just having the system, I think when we first connected, it was, I want to build a coaching program. And I think this is for a lot of people. Like Adrian's a great example of when we first connected, when he first joined the program and borrowed his mother's Amex card, he didn't even know his niche. And I remember having that conversation of like, dude, like, don't even worry about that. That will get sorted out. We can spend the next couple of months trying to figure out the niche, but just realize that you're going to find your niche as you grow your community and your following. I think we had a rough idea about masculinity, and then going through that system. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money, right? Going through the process of, as you find your voice, as you start booking clarity calls, you'll start to find out what you do and who you are. And I think you're a great example of that. Okay, so let's kind of talk about more about things that was very helpful for you, because cracking the code of getting people to actually pay you online is a big deal. So like, for example, the 6 clients that you're working with right now, where are they from?
They're from all over the place, bro. They're from all over the place. Some of them are from, you know, my hometown, Toronto. Some of them are from Vancouver.
And did you know any of them before?
I knew a couple of them before, but I didn't really know them like that.
Okay.
They kind of just like they kind of been just watching me from the sidelines and seeing a bunch of my other content on different platforms. And that actually kind of got them to be interested.
Yes.
So yeah, some of them I didn't know, some of them I knew. But yeah.
How awesome is that? Like, what was your experience the first time someone was like, yeah, man, I have no problem working with you, knowing that you just made this program, you kind of piece it together and just kind of put these things.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy, man. Because I was literally like, bro, it was actually a really big limiting
and
belief.
we're Canadians charging in US, which I thought was pretty cool too. So anyway,
yeah,
continue.
I think that was a huge limiting belief that I shattered because, like, essentially, like charging someone. So I charge all my beta clients 500 USD, right?
Yes.
Mind you, like 5 out of 6 of them are Canadian, right? But even when I said 500 USD, and I was just like, yeah, it's 500 USD. And I just shut up. Bro, like some of these guys, like I'm telling you, like one of these guys was literally just like, bro, like I'm ready to sign up. I don't even care for your pitch. Like I'm ready to sign up. And I'm just like, that's wild, bro. Like you really trust me like that? Like no offense, bro, but I don't know if I trust someone like that. No, there are people who will trust you because your content or, the trust that you've gained through your marketing and media presence has given them that trust. They almost feel like they know you or they're friends with you. And that actually happens because, I follow a lot of people online, right? And like Elliot Halls being one of them, different guys online. And some of them, like you actually feel a emotional or psychological connection to them because you just listen to them so often through the screen. You probably listen to some of these influencers more than you listen to your parents or like, your friends sometimes, you hear their voice more. So you can really build connection through like, marketing and media, right? So I think that was a big realization, like the impact of my marketing and my messaging of what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And it comes back to, that thing that, in your program, this ideal avatar. I've been really thinking about this ideal avatar, creating this person that I'm making my messaging for, like really getting down on who this person is, like what they're struggling with, what their pain points are and whatever. And every time I talk to this camera on my phone, it's like, I'm just talking to that person. And you'd be surprised because there are a lot of people who are that person, or there are a lot of people who have an aspect of them that can relate to that person that you're talking about. And that's all you need for them to come closer to you and draw near to you. And then once they draw near to you, you put them in the Facebook group and then boom, they're in the washing machine of content.
It's called nurturing. So super cool. And so tell me about the idea of the content and the setting and the closing. Tell me about that, because I feel like it's like anyone can open up a Facebook group, but making it sing per se, or making it actually like become a real business, you got to learn how to like create great marketing, be consistent with the marketing, knowing how to book calls, and then knowing how to close these calls. So kind of like tell us like your 2 cents going through that whole process.
Yeah. So some of the staples that I try to do in my coaching business is that, okay, so like mine is like men's masculinity and self-development. So so I have different types of content that I post. So I have like written content. I have live video of me just freestyling about a topic in regards to self-development content. I also have, live interviews that I do with other men in the group. So I get other men who are experienced in certain things. So like someone may be a fitness coach or someone may be a spiritual coach or whatever. And I do live interviews with them, just like how Dan's doing with me right now. And then on top of that, I do live trainings. So I have a system of the 7 pillars that make someone a masculine man. And every week, it's like I'll go through one of these pillars and do a training on it that would take like 30 to 45 minutes of me just on Zoom, sharing a Google Doc, training about these things. So I do those things. And then I have a lot of written posts, right? I have a lot of pictures, a lot of quotes. I'll do polls, right? I'll do random shout outs, right? Welcome posts to welcome new members. So I have this arsenal of all these different types of posts that I consistently have. Yeah. Now, once I have that, right, people will either engage with the post or not engage with the post. And then people will come into the group, right? So I funnel people into the group by doing my 30 DMs a day. So I'll message 30 people a day from groups that are of a similar niche to my group. So if it's men's masculinity, I'll go into other men's groups, message 30 people. And out of the 30 people, maybe I get 2, 3, 4 people that want to join my group, get them into my group. Once they join my group, they have to answer a certain membership questions. So they get screened before they get into my group. Once they're in my group, I literally DM them right away and I say like, hey, bro, I noticed you've been struggling with this. Great to have you in the group, man. Great to like make a change, blah, 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 and start the conversation with them. And then once I start the conversation with them, before you know it, you have like this is the hard part, bro. Like you got like 30, 40 conversations and you're trying to remember what you talked about with each person.
Oh, you're just going. Yeah.
And you're just going, right? So that's where, like, I guess for me, that was the most mentally draining thing, is actually talking to every single person and trying to set these calls.
Yeah.
And then once you set the call, right, you have your offer and then you pitch it to them. And it's just more book calls equals more close calls, right?
How was the pitch? How was the tweaking of knowing how to get someone on a call and then like getting someone to actually pay at the end? Did you find that simple? Did you find there was like any blocks there?
Yeah, I think that's probably, like, for me, I don't know, everyone's different. For me, the content was easy for me. The traffic is easy for me. The setting, it's more so like actually having these conversations and being consistent with having these conversations. I think that was the thing that was the hardest for me, not because I couldn't do it. It's just I wasn't doing enough of it.
Yes.
Right. So I guess like setting a time to really just work the DMs, that was a thing. But in terms of the conversations in the DMs, I couldn't do it. And understanding how to like, just transition them from the DM to the call. That's something that I'm still trying to find the right formula, but it's really hard because you have to have some sauce, you have to have some secret sauce where you could maneuver the conversation a certain way. And I guess that's where like the sales training comes in, the malleability or the versatility you have to have with every different person. Some people are like drivers, right? Some people are more analytical, right? Some people are more amiable, right? So you have a bunch of these things. So understanding the personality types online and through the DMs is harder because people can actually not reply to you. Yeah. Versus if you're on the phone, right? You can hear it in their voice, the tone and stuff. But with certain people, you can't, right? So to me, the way to compensate that is just to do more volume, right? That's one thing. And then increase your skill as you decrease your volume.
How have people around you reacted? Like, as you're like, this is what I'm doing. Like, are some of them kind of shocked? Were they like, oh, okay, this was going to happen?
Yeah, people are kind of like, yo, like people think I'm unemployed. And I'm just like, people actually think I'm unemployed. And I'm just like, bro, like, like I'm out here, because the truth is that like, it's you're
in marketing, right? So they're like, why aren't you working a job right now and working your 9 to 5? And why are you working all the time? This is weird.
Exactly. And I think that's the limiting belief, right? Because once you know you can close a client online, right? And you can close a client for a significant amount of money, that really opens the door, right? Because it's like, whoa, like, I was getting paid like, 4,000 a month, right? But hey, you close 2, 3, 4 clients at 2,500, who knows where you could be, right?
You just had a $3,000 a week last week or whatever it was.
Exactly. So like, it really makes it possible, but it's not even the money I'm thinking about. For me, it's like, how much time did I put in to get that amount of money? Right.
Wow.
So now that I have the freedom, right? Because the system gives you the freedom. Now it's like, okay, I have more hours in the day. Let me put an extra hour to like running the system a little. And let me just like put more juice into the system and just keep pumping it. Right.
Yeah. Well, now you're running a business. Like now that you've made this real, obviously you want to start learning how to sell the program for a higher ticket. Because technically, if you learn how to sell your program at 2,500, which in my eyes is a low end of a high ticket offer anyway, you sell 3 of those a month. That's 6 figures a year, technically, right? And so, it's knowing how to crack the code there. And so I think, to me, there's so much benefit, and I think even starting, like even just coaching in general. I don't know if we had this conversation, but I was like, there's 3 paths you can go down. You can either build a coaching business, you can either build an e-com business, right? Like a physical product, or you can build a SaaS company, like build a software. And I remember like, did I talk about this? I feel like I did, but anyway.
Talked about this like a while ago. Yeah.
And like I said, you can open up a physical product, like selling a shirt or something on Amazon. And I said, the problem with that is like, there's a lot of maneuvering and your margins are smaller.
Yeah.
Right? Like the biggest thing I want to say to everyone here is this, right? Which is a big deal. Say you were selling, let's say you sold $3,000 worth of things on Amazon, your margins may be 30% or 20%, or maybe the amount of volume you bought, you might have lost money because you bought all these at a big volume and then lost money, which is fine, but it will even out. SaaS companies will just take a long time to really get off the ground. That's why in San Francisco, I'm thinking about the tech city. It's crossed my mind, but that's why there's millions of dollars invested into these new software companies, because to make their mark in the space and to get enough volume, that's why they're bleeding out money majority of the time. And just like I think I read something like Uber is finally profitable after whatever it's been, right? And so with a coaching business, if you really think about it, other than paying for a coach to like show you the system, you haven't really spent any money. Like, just FYI, everyone, Adrian has ran 0 ads. He's built 0 funnels. He's published 0 books. And so he literally took $3,000 out of the marketplace for free, or not for free, but like 100% is his. And so if that starts to open up your eyes, like, dude, you literally pulled something out of nothing. And I think it's a crazy concept. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a huge realization for me too, because bro, I'm an entrepreneur just like you, bro, so like we're out here trying to find the best model, trying to find the best system, right? We want to be strategic. Like if we're really going to go all in on something, you want to be like strategic about what you're doing. And I've looked to all of these different options, right? E-commerce company, maybe I start a Shopify store, maybe I go drop shipping, whatever. And what I realized is that like, man, if I go drop shipping e-commerce, like I'm dependent on what the market is doing. The market still controls me, right? Because if this paperclip is worth 5 cents, then it's worth 5 cents. Whether I have anything to say about it or not, it's worth 5 cents. But with coaching, you literally determine your own value, right? You literally, if I think I'm worth $1 million and I want to price my product at $1 million, I may need 1 client every 10 years, but you could really price it however you want to price it. And I think that was a huge realization, because once you invest in the system and then you just start working the system, it's really up to you to determine the value. And what I noticed, like from a mental standpoint, is that if you don't feel like you're working your system hard enough, you're going to subconsciously treat it as like, maybe my product's only worth $250 a month or $250, and you can join my program. But if you're putting like, excuse my language, a shit ton of effort into this system, right? And you're building it out and you're having resources. Like, let's say you build the ebook, or like you build a webinar, or you put this stuff on school, and you build out the program and you re-record the modules, and you really start putting the effort behind it. No, you're going to believe that, nah, bro, this is worth 2,500 USD, maybe even 5,000 USD. And I think that's a big realization, because what you're selling is intellectual property, right? You guys, if you want to know how to improve your masculinity, or you want to become, self-develop, improve yourself, your personal development, man, you want to really listen to someone who's already done it, people would actually pay for it. And that's like shocking, but like also not shocking, like people have been doing this before me and they never found it shocking. So I guess once you get over that hump in your beliefs, I think that's where everything starts to change.
So a few more things. Number one, what do you think about how has been the community? So I always look at success. There's a holistic approach to it, because technically you could have been given the system through a little course on the side. I don't believe it would have had the same effect, knowing that, like, for example, you and Nick chat or whatever, and you see Nick have a $8,500 a month, or you see someone over here do 10,000, or you see Jason do Twitter. So tell us about that. Tell us about the community. And I want to talk about like that aspect, and maybe like even just having coaching, whether it's myself or Devin, because I know you're a very self-driven individual. I want to talk about the community aspect, because it's built. The whole thing is built. Like, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and how you build the Facebook, how you post, but also like how a client goes through the roadmap of my program. So being part of the coaching calls, being part of the community, connecting with one another, having the one-on-one support. So tell us about that whole process and how helpful it was for you.
Yeah, I think like, honestly, like the community is like it's such a good thing because you can bounce ideas off each other. So like, even though you're on this, this path, at least you're a part of a mastermind of other people who are in other coaching industries. And what I realized is that like, man, I've bought so many courses online. Like I was never afraid to do that. And like, Grant Cardone finessed me, bro. Like that guy actually finessed me. he kind of, he sold me on a program and like, I bought that program and I'm not going to lie. Well, he didn't really finesse me. Like once you don't have the accountability and you just buy a program, right? Then it becomes a course, right? A course. Then you literally are always, it's really on you to do that. There's really no accountability. But with this method, with the masterminds and stuff like that, you're more involved in what you're doing. It keeps you more engaged. Now, you guys have like 3 coaching calls, right? I may even only come to like one of them sometimes, and if I need questions or something, I'll always have that as a resource. But because I run the other business, the tutoring business on the side, like the times are just hard for me. So maybe the only one I can really come to is the Friday one. But I'm gonna start showing up to those more because just for a reinforcing factor for my mind, just to be close to the fire, like you would say, And I think that in itself is like really, really helpful. Also, like Nick, one of your other clients, like he's around my age. So we talk a lot, just about bouncing ideas off each other.
What I'm talking about is I think that is like you have someone on the same journey as you. And so like you dropping the ball isn't an option. You know what I mean? It's like.
Exactly. There's like an accountability factor.
Through, you want to push through. Sorry.
Exactly. There's an accountability.
I just think like it's such an impactful aspect because I have buddies and I'm like, dude, he did how many hundred of thousands last month? 250? What? And it's like, even though I may not talk to him all the time or like there's this, it's like everyone needs that aspect.
Yeah.
Having someone in their life who's like pushing you to that next level. And so I think that course doesn't do it. Even if like you're at the beginning or you're like trying to hit your first couple $1,000 a month and then someone else, like, I just think that's so necessary for the success. You can have the system, but to enforce system consistently, you need people around you who become family to you.
Exactly. It becomes like a family, I don't feel like I can, like if I ever had a question and like, let's say you weren't available, like I could go to Devin or I could go to Nick or I could go to Jason. Like there's always someone who's in the system along the process that you could always go to, which is really, really, really clutch because, all you need is a person who's just slightly ahead of you and that person would already have the answers to your question. And everyone in the community is very, very helpful because we're all on Facebook. Like everyone's always on Facebook. We're either prospecting on Facebook. So if I know someone's prospecting, bro, I see them active, bro. I know you're not going to leave me on seen or leave me on red. I know you're going to answer my question, because your business runs on Facebook. And the only way I can communicate with you is through Facebook. And we have a Facebook group. So like, nice trying to lie, and get out of this one. So it kind of, that kind of helps with, accountability and stuff. But what I realized is that like, there's 2 types of people really, there's winners and there's losers. And this is just a binary thing, but I have to keep it real, right? Cause like winners, man, like Nick could be winning or you could be winning and you could be in your own kind of thing. And you're coaching something completely different. You're coaching someone how to coach. Nick's coaching someone how to copyright. I'm coaching someone on masculinity. Jason's coaching someone else on small businesses. Yeah. And winners, they kind of do their thing. But when they come together in these masterminds, it's like, it's a celebration every time you link up. It's a celebration, right? Because it's like,
bro, Drake line? Is that a Drake line? It's a celebration.
Yeah, it's a Drake line, So like, it's like, I'm winning here, you're winning here. And when we come, it doesn't matter where you are. It's just the fact that you're winning, right? But losers just come and talk about how everything's not working. So I think like with the supportive community, I think that's probably the biggest thing, the availability, the support. And sometimes, this is the thing with online business, it can get really lonely, right? And you may think that, oh, I'm just on my laptop, I'm just always doing this, and like I'm communicating online. But like having almost coworkers in a sense, where we're like a team in our own kind of unique way, and we're all kind of with each other, it makes the journey a bit more satisfying, because it's like, yo, we're all doing this coaching stuff and we're all doing the same system. Some people run coaching business on like Instagram or TikTok and stuff like that, but they don't have that community, right? But here we actually have the community because our own coaching systems are involved with building community. So that just, expands out to actually learning from each other on how to be coaches, which I think is just brilliant,
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you, bro. Yeah, I would say, how have you changed as a whole? Like, it's one thing, because, I think as being an entrepreneur, you got to have this vision in your head. And then now that it's slowly becoming realer and realer, and, at the end of the day, as businesses, people start actually paying you, and you see like, whoa, I just got an invoice paid. This is cool. Almost like just turning this idea into reality. Yeah, I guess the question is, how have you changed? And how are you? Because I know how I was when it first became real. Now it's second nature to me.
Yeah.
But how have you changed in the identity?
Yeah, there's been a huge identity shift, and like, you could probably feel it in my vigor, you could probably feel it in the energy. But the main thing I would say is that, like, I was in real estate, right? I had a real estate business, I had a tutoring business. Okay. And what I was doing and mind you, I'm an entrepreneur. So if you guys think you tried something, I'll tell you right now, I probably tried it before you. Okay. So I tried I've tried everything. I was day trading like stocks and crypto in like university during lectures and stuff. Like, I've tried everything. Okay. And what I realized is that when you are in this self-employed entrepreneurial mindset, it's completely different. When I was in real estate, I would do 30 calls every day, and then maybe I'll get a deal. 30 calls every day, maybe get a deal. No accountability, nothing. It's all dependent on me. Read a bunch of self-help books, try to get the mindset right, blah, blah, blah. But I had to be my biggest cheerleader and motivate myself all the time. And you have shiny object syndrome, where everything's coming around you and you have to be like, okay, maybe I should try this. Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should try this. You go to the office and then someone's telling you to do something else. Right. So there was that. With tutoring, I was doing one-on-one calls. Right. And then I got so many students where I was tutoring 6 hours a day, just doing these one-on-one calls all the time. And I was like burning out. So what I realized is that I always felt I was on the hamster wheel. And with that came a lot of anxiety, came a lot of mental stress. My wellness wasn't good, right? My health wasn't as good because I was going through this. Yeah, I was making money, but like, as much as I was making money, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been through this. Sometimes you're making really good money, but because you're so stressed, you end up spending the money so quickly too. And, you end up buying random stuff, or you end up going to all these dinners, or you end up spending it on your vices because, you're just stressed. You're trying to keep that hamster to keep on going on the wheel. So you're not really actually, you're working hard, but you're not working smart. But when I transitioned to systems and felt confident in my systems, I was able to take, certain ideas and certain concepts of online business systems and apply them to my, other businesses as well.
Well, tell us about that, because it's funny, because we talked about this back in, oh my God, 6 months ago, man. And so we talked about building a system for your tutoring business. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but like, I didn't know.
No, this is huge. I was just about to get into it.
Say it.
So, with the tutoring business, right? I had an online tutoring business where I was doing one-on-one calls through Zoom every student, and all these students would just schedule with me, and then I would just do the class, done, okay, close that meeting, open another meeting, do another class, whatever. And then I took the concept of this group coaching system and this online community, the online community system, okay? Because here's the thing, you have the group coaching, you funnel everyone to the group coaching, and then if they need support, they still have the online community. So it's not like you're in the group coaching and you don't attend this call and then you're pretty much lost in the sauce. You also have the online community system. So what I realized is that with tutoring, now I have pretty much a drop-in schedule for tutoring. So just like how the YMCA has like drop-in basketball, drop-in swimming, drop-in badminton, I have drop in math, drop in physics,
all the time. Yeah.
drop in science, whatever. So with that, right, I only tutor 2 times a day, right? So I only tutor for 2 hours a day. And the rest of the time I can focus now on my coaching business. And now I took certain models of like putting people on a payment plan, putting them on a subscription basis, and get reoccurring money, and doing the same amount of work with less time and making more money, or having the potential to make more money, which really blew my mind, because at first I was like, man, would people really buy this?
Yes, I remember talking about this with you. I was like, dude, we got to turn this into a subscription model and a group model.
Yeah. And that was the thing, because it was like, would people really buy the group coaching? And to be truthfully honest, a lot of people, I was thinking, if it was just the group coaching, they probably wouldn't buy it. But because you have the group coaching with the offline community, now they'd buy it, So crafting the offer, like, man, my offer right now, my closing rate on like tutoring clients is 80%, by the way, 80% closing rate.
And sorry, just because this is cool, because we just took this out, because before you joined, you didn't have a coaching program. You would one-on-one coaching to your tutoring students. And how much were you charging an hour? You're charging $50 an hour.
$50 an hour.
You're like, I got to start charging $60 an hour, man.
Yeah.
His tutoring business, you're charging them what? $400 a month.
So now I charge $400 a month. And I'm like, bro, like, okay, they would pay me $50 and each student would come once a week. Okay. So 50, 50, 50, 50.
A month.
It's $200 a month. Now they get 2 classes a week, but they're small group classes, but they have this offline community. Plus they have the mentorship that I give them in certain calls. Right. And I'm only tutoring 2 hours a day, and I get 400, double the amount per student. So that's when I was like, bro, okay, Dan, I get it. You're a genius, with this whole model. So, I'm gonna just take this and put my own twist on it with this. And I started realizing, oh my gosh, this is how people make money. They have the systems that give them the time to go make more businesses. And then they just build these systems. So that was a huge, huge realization, because like, I feel like once you break past that self-employed mindset to business owner mindset, it changes. But the business owner is dependent on the system, not how hard you work.
So I got it now. So you've been like, because when did you launch the subscription model? Was it beginning of this month?
Beginning of this month, literally beginning of this month, September 5th.
Crazy, man. Crazy. So It's just like, so September's been a big month for you.
Yeah, it's been a huge month. I actually, I hit 12 clients, right, at 400. So that's 4,800 Canadian.
Okay. So you had
that, and that is on a subscription model. Okay. So 4,800 Canadian coming in every month, right? Mind you, this is only with 12 clients. It could be more, right? So,
it can scale.
And the thing is,
it can scale.
It can scale, right? But the thing is that how much am I working though?
Yeah.
I'm a lazy ass dude. How much am I really working, right? And then eventually the goal is, once I put tutors in those spots that I would teach in.
Oh my, look at this young business owner over here.
Just, you just let that thing run. But I think that's the real realization, because if you're, okay, like for those of you who are watching, if you're someone who's like me and you're a real strategist, entrepreneur, and you think you know it all, that's like me, okay? But if you're like that, right? If you're like that, what you'll realize is that through the coaching program, right?
Yeah.
The transferable skills you're going to get as a business owner, or as a guy who wants to make money, a guy or girl who wants to make money and actually wants to scale and understand how this stuff works.
Yeah.
That was a huge benefit, because there are so many transferable skills that you could take from a program like this and apply them in other areas. And who knows, maybe you make a pivot in your life at a certain point. You're always going to remember these skills in online business, right? And I think everyone should learn it, regardless of how old you are. This is the future, and this is how you get your time back. And I saw an increase in my health and my wellness. I'm super into fitness nowadays, and just getting all that stuff right. So I think the balance of buying back my time was super perfect with this,
I got two more questions, sir.
Yeah, go for it.
First one, where do you think you would be right now if you didn't take action and join our program?
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. Like, the margin. See, the thing is like, it's the intellectual property, right? Like, I think this, like, learning this skill has like put like a huge, like, it made me think a lot bigger, because I felt like before I was thinking smaller because I had a certain skill set, certain beliefs, right? But this shifted my beliefs to now I'm like, whoa, if I could scale like this, man, like 10K a month is small now. It's like, yo, we can make more, And that's not me being like greedy for money. It's more like you're about the game. Are you about the game or are you not about the game? Right? It's a game at the end of the day, right? How can you play the game and maximize the gains from the game? So I think that's like a huge thing. And yeah, I think like, who knows? I would be in teachers college right now, going through teachers college, going back to school, and then coming back and making not that great of a money.
$4,800 a month.
Exactly. Like the tutoring business, bro. I'm telling you, what's crazy? Let me tell you something crazy, okay? Let me tell you something crazy, okay?
So you would have made $4,800 a month,
bro.
Working 40 hours a week. Right now, you work with it down here 2 hours a week.
This is the funniest story. I'm gonna tell you the funniest story. So basically, what happened, right? I'm enrolling these tutoring clients, right?
Yeah.
And two of the parents, okay?
Yeah.
One parent, it was two parents of the same kid.
Yeah.
One parent was a grade 5 teacher. Okay.
Yeah.
And the father, so the mom was a grade 5 teacher. The father was actually a professor at Ryerson University in Toronto. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm pitching them this idea, right? And these guys are literally like, yo, you're one smart motherfucker. They're just like, you could see it in their eyes. You could see it in their eyes.
Listen, this is my idea, guys. He just implemented it, okay?
You could see it in their eyes. They were just like, they were literally questioning their life. When David Goggins says, yo, I'm gonna take your soul, bro, I took their soul in that call. And the offer was too good, right? So they were just like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. We'll pay in full. So they paid in full 5 months, the whole semester. So they gave me $2,000 for that whole semester. So, and I was just like, in that moment, I'm telling you, like,
the same guy charging $50.
No, I used to be charging $50 an hour, but like my offer was too good that I was literally just like, man, you're a clown if you don't take this. You're actually like, it makes no sense not to take this offer. Right. I'm giving you the 24/7 support. I'm giving you the group calls. You're getting double the calls. Right. I added in like a monthly progress report for
double the calls. You think about that. And double the calls. Like, I'm getting now 2 calls a week.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yo, literally, it's just like, I think like the teachers, the two teachers who are the parents, they're a bit older. So like, they were kind of like, whoa. Like, I think they made a realization that like online business is way more scalable. And when I talk about scalable, it's also time too.
And you're doing this online. You're not even doing it in person, right?
Everything online. Everything online.
This is the guy who is meeting up with all of his students in person at the library, correct?
Bro, meeting up with students. I would take some Zoom calls, but it was just like, man, it's just crazy. Cause like, I think if you're a money guy like me and you're trying to like really trying to scale, everything has to do with speed, right? Yeah. So first of all, the first gear to check off when it comes to speed is, okay, go online. You'll automatically be faster if you go online. But the second thing is, what's your system look like?
Yes.
Right. And I think group coaching, community, right? Working the DMs, free content is free marketing, free marketing, right? Yeah. Content. And then, just being able to do that, like being able to get your time back. Like there's some days, man, I go and play basketball at like 12 PM, cause I'm just chilling, I just want to, because I want
different. We're not wired this way. We're wired. You get to the office at 9 and you come home by 5 o'clock, and hopefully you'll hit enough traffic and you get home by 5:36. That's what my dad did. My dad left the house at 7:45 to get to Brampton from Scarborough. 9 a.m. And then hopefully he left the office at 5:15, 5 o'clock to get home for 6:30. That's how we're wired. You just going to playing basketball at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and making $4,800 working. Let's go worst case. Let's say each call's an hour and a half. Worst case, working 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. That's not supposed to happen. That's not how we're wired. And you got second business that we made $3,000 in a week. So technically, well, I mean, cash collected 2,000 up front. So like you do the math.
You do the math, right? Like, and to be honest, I'm not even a guy who's like into like luxurious things, right? Like I'm not even a guy who's into that stuff. Like for me, it's like, okay, now where can I spend this money? Let me like pay this guy to like, go and like do content for me or something, like, and just keep buying back my time. And like, I think
wired this way. We're not, at least I wasn't wired this way.
Yeah. And a lot of people watching this, right? You guys are probably not wired this way either. That's why you're even watching this to begin with, to be honest. Right. But I don't know, man. Like if you want to be in a winner circle, and you want to be around people who are about this life and like really, really honing in on not just like being able to like coach and, market whatever your skill set is. So for me, masculinity, for Dan, coaching, or for someone else, like, copywriting or whatever, but also being able to be a part of a community, get back your wellness, buy back your time, right? Become a business owner, think differently, right? Understand different skill sets.
Yeah,
man, this is a great program. Yeah. I'm so happy I invested.
So that actually lines up to my last question. So if there's anyone watching this that's on the fence about to book a call or about to enroll, I guess my question like, what would be the words for you? Because I think Adrian's a great example of when I first talked to Adrian, it wasn't like, perfect, let's buy this program. And you weren't like, I have all this money. By the way, no one's ever like, hey, by the way, I have all this money to give you. How do I sign up for your program? It doesn't work like that. Everyone is in a certain situation. Everyone is in a problem. They'll have an issue with cash flow. But as entrepreneurs, we learn to be resourceful. And so whether it's Adrian, his situation, convincing his mom and dad to say, Mom, can I please use your Amex? Don't tell Dad, or whatever the case was. Or I had to borrow the money from someone, or I had to use line of credit, or whatever the case is. Okay. My question to you is for anyone who is on the fence, your experience working with myself, knowing me at a personal level, going through this process from scratch, changing your first initial tutoring business, to now being able to make this business real. What words would you have for them if they're like considering working with you? And how is
I would say, I would say the quote. I have a quote here. It's on my wall. It says, from Bob Proctor, it says, fear and faith both require you to see something. Both require you to see something that you cannot see. You choose, right? And I think that when you're on the fence of like trying to invest in like a coaching program or any of that stuff, right? Anything online, it does become scary because you don't want to be scammed. Obviously, you don't want to be scammed, right? But hey, how is this person making this amount of money, right? There's also a faith aspect. So there's a fear aspect and there's a faith aspect. And at the end of the day, the fear is in your head, right? And the faith is also in your head. So regardless, you're going to have to make a decision anyways, right? And what I will tell you is that like this works, right? It works. I'm doing it. I'm even taking like some of the knowledge and applying it into other businesses, right? And this stuff has transformed my own life in shaping my perspective on business, which has really been the biggest win out of everything. If you're a guy like me who likes business and, it doesn't really matter what you're doing, you could figure out your entrepreneurial way. This has shifted my paradigm of what I believed about business, right? So me telling you this, you guys probably seen other people in the other interviews talk about this. I would say take that leap of faith, right? And because I'm telling you this, bro, it's really not that much faith you need, you just have to go and do it because the proof is in the pudding, and I don't think this is something that you'll regret, especially working with Dan. I have Dan on Dan's, on WhatsApp and Facebook and we communicate on speed dial, right? So if there was a question, and I remember talking to Dan about different things, certain times I would talk to you and I'd be like,
goodness,
bro, I'd be like, bro, like I'm mentally not there, what am I like, can you just like motivate me one time? This is like a real thing, because when you're like a coach, a lot of people think that, oh, if you're a coach, you should know it all. But the truth is, coaches need coaches too. We all need each other, right? So like having Dan as a coach, even Devin, as a support system to help me. If I ever have a question, Dan or Devin, they're always willing to book a call with me to, really just like understand certain things or to touch up certain things. Like, even if it comes to like, if you're not technically, tech savvy, like I didn't know Facebook at all. So I was basically like one of you old guys, I didn't know it either. Right. So, but I was learning, and like Devin was showing me different tools that I could use, connecting my Calendly, connecting my Zoom to Facebook, all these little intricacies. Like, Devin was solid, with all of that stuff. So I think that just working with you guys, like, has given me a new perspective on business. And it showed me that, like, these things are possible if you're around the right people in the right community. Like, people are always scared with these online communities, because they don't fully know if the support's going to be there. They need someone to hold their hand. If you want someone to hold your hand, bro, just come to this program. Like, we actually hold each other's hands, and it's like, it may not be these guys, but man, maybe I'll hold your hand,
Oh my God. Well, guys, if you enjoyed Adrian, if you got inspired, I know I did. And I've been on this journey with Adrian. So you're seeing at some level of finished product so far. And I think he's about to just like, it's like he's broken the barrier. I think there's a lot of belief shifts that I've seen within you. I've seen transformation. And like, I think a good example of who Adrian is. And I guess my question, sorry, I clicked on that. I think a good example of who Adrian is, and maybe this could be you as well. Adrian is a very disciplined, self-driven, self-motivated, resourceful individual. And what he needed, because I can't take the credit for what you've achieved. All I can do is give you a system, give you accountability, and give you the tweaking that I feel like, as someone who's been in your shoes, needed. And that's what I needed too. Well, I was like, the year before I joined, I went to the coaching industry. I made $250,000 in income. I thought I was a very competent individual. I made 1% of what income earners, I think, achieve in Canada. Like, I didn't need no coach. I didn't know someone. And for sure, I can watch all these videos. I could learn everything. But I believe what I needed, what I see with Adrian, and this is similar to you. Now, if you're lazy, I wouldn't say lazy, but if you're someone who makes excuses for everything, then yes, I wouldn't compare yourself to Adrian. But Adrian was someone. I keep clicking this button. Adrian was someone who can and will eventually figure it out. But what Adrian got was the confidence, the tweaking of the percents. And because of that, his life has gone a complete different direction. Like, for example, anyone could have said, "Yay, you should turn your tutoring business into group coaching." But as he started to like learn more, be accountable, implement it, now he just made $5,000 from his tutoring business, working 3 hours a week. And now an additional $3,000 from his coaching business. Like, he just made a 6-figure income, technically, right? $8,000 a month by just these tweaks. And I don't think that was possible. Like, for example, let's even ask you that. Like, have you ever made $8,000 in a month? I guess it's real estate, right? Never.
Yeah, it's real estate. Yeah, but real estate, like, you make a fat check in real estate. Like, you get a $20,000 check, but like, man, like, honestly, like, once you get that check, you're not even that satisfied, because you're just like, oh, back to the doors or back to the phone calls. It's like, you don't really have the system that knows that you can scale. Because if you're trying to make real money, right? Like, you're trying to like be a real entrepreneur, then you have to think in systems. You have to think in terms of scale at a certain point. Mind you, when I was tutoring, I first started as $25 an hour. Then I would be like, oh, the next breakthrough was, let me up it to $30 an hour. And that was actually a huge breakthrough for me at that time. And then let me up it to $40, then up it to $50. And then I plateaued at 50, because I'm like, could I really charge $60 for tutoring? Like, who's really going to pay that? And maybe I could, but it's still the same system. I still have to put the same hours. Yeah, maybe I'm getting more per hour, but if I could build a system that can give me more per hour, right? That changes everything. Because think about it, like I just have my calculator here. Because the thing for me is like, how much am I making per hour? That's what matters to me, right? So the velocity of your business, right? So 4,800 divided by 16 hours, right? You're making $300 an hour, right? And that changed everything, because before I was making 50 an hour doing 6-hour days tutoring, but now I'm making, $300 in an hour if it's 4,800 divided by 16. So the perspective started to change. If you're a business owner, you're analytical like me, and I'm sure some of you guys are, and you guys maybe have your own businesses or you tried business before, right? This was a belief shifting business. It's a belief shifting mechanism, especially going in the online space. And I think the aspect of shifting your belief in the long run of your life is going to hold way, way, way more value in terms of how you can make that money back down the line. So investing in a belief shifting thing like this.
That's what it is. It's the same reason.
That's what it was for me.
It's the same reason. I remember when I looked at my parents and I go, Dad, I'm going to buy this $30,000 US dollar program for whatever. It was like $40,000 at Canadian. And he didn't understand it. But the whole idea was like, this is to shift beliefs that I believe are holding me back right now. And so anyway, I love seeing the result for you. It's been over an hour. Show some love down below. I know we both got things going on. But if you guys want to learn more, come book a call with me. I know someone asked how much my program is and what that looks like. Come book a call with us. We can message you in the DM and chat there. But Adrian, I am honored to be a part of your growth. I'm glad to see that things are turning into fruition. And I think this is going to be the rest of your life going down this path, thinking about systems and building businesses.
Yeah.
So you're going to be that self-employed individual anymore. So
absolutely.
Is there any last words that you want to leave before we end up?
Yo, man, you guys got to stop waiting on the sidelines. That's just what it is, bro. Like, you're waiting on the sidelines, and like, the stuff, the knowledge, the intellectual property you could take from a program like this is life-changing in my opinion. And it's kind of like compound interest. Okay. If you start investing at 18 years old versus you start investing at 25 years old, you're at a massive disadvantage if you invest at 25 versus 18. Right. And that's because, the stuff compounds. In the same way, the intelligence or the, intellectual property you get, that stuff compounds and it changes the trajectory of your life. So like being someone on the other side, this is what's happened for me. Right. And I like it because I have my time. I can go have like that, like everything in my life gets better, like I have more time for like family, friends, time for, my sports and my fitness and my teams that I'm a part of and my community stuff. So I get all that time back, but I'm not stressed about the money. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing. Cause even me, man, like I could be happy with a certain amount of money. Cause I don't even spend that much anyways. I'm more about the game. I don't really care about like I could still live in like, a 1-bedroom apartment and just like sleep on the floor. Like I really don't care about those things, but it's the game. Right. So if you're someone who's like that and you're just on the edge, I would just say like, at least book a call, right? Book a call and see where it takes you, have some faith.
So what's the plans now? Is the plan, let's say you do start hitting 10,000 a month. Are you moving? Are you like, what's the plans for Adrian, man?
Honestly, man, I was thinking about this. I'm just like,
I hope with the type of money that you're making, you could live great in Colombia.
I was thinking,
Playa del Carmen.
So like the thoughts that I'm thinking about is like, instead of being like 2 vacations a year, right? I'm not even thinking of them as vacations anymore. Yeah. I'm thinking of it as like, yo, you know what? I'm going to bounce, I'm going to go to Portugal and I'm going to just work there for like a month. I'm just changing locations. I'm still going to be working.
Confirm with your boss before.
I don't have to confirm with anybody. It's like the goal. This is the goal, to make sure that like taking a flight is like taking a bus ride. like taking the Go bus or something, the TTC or, the local bus.
Sure.
If you could take planes like that, then the world just opens up. Like, how much more could you learn? How much more opportunities are there worldwide? Like, who will you meet?
Yeah.
Maybe who knows? Maybe I come back with a girl from Portugal. Who knows?
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. But
But
just the possibilities are endless,
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. I think, and this is the beauty when the system is all set up. And again, Adrian, you're what, 24? 26. So like, dude, mid-20s, you do this for a couple of years, this is the path of becoming a millionaire. This is the path of becoming a millionaire, being able to make impact and being able to live life on your terms. And I think that's what's most important. I know that's what I care about. I care less about like, look how much money I have. Look how, look at all these numbers I'm hitting. I think that's cool to see growth, just like to see that I can lift more weight or I can do these things. But to me, I think it's when I look at living a great life, it's like having that purpose and having that, not having that pressure that's unnecessary. So cool, bro. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. I'm sure we'll do another one again in the future.
Absolutely. Always down.
All right, guys, we'll show Adrian some love down below. If you guys all got inspired, then give him some love. If you haven't booked a call already, I don't know what's wrong with you. We'll see you guys very soon. Okay. Peace. Bye-bye.
See you guys.